Well, several reports have alluded to the National Command Council having withheld the COVID-19 modelling and prediction data it's been using to decide on these lockdown restrictions in the country at the moment. And this follows requests, this is a story we've been tracking for some time, requests by those lawyers who have questioned the constitutionality of the structure of the Command Council and, of course, very importantly, the scope of its powers. Let's get you some analysis on the story now. Dr. Sithembile Mbete joins us now. Doc, thanks very much for your time. It's great to have you with us. I mean, the important... thank you, good morning. The important issue now, given that we are in a crisis, should South Africans be taken into government's confidence a lot more than is currently the case?
Well, certainly the argument is that, for a pandemic of this nature, having information is really important for people to be able to plan for their lives, but also to be able to feel confident that they will be safe during the pandemic. And so there is some concern that with government not taking South Africans into its confidence and really clarifying what is happening with this fast-moving pandemic, that it is making it incredibly difficult for South Africans, firstly, to deal with the anxiety I think that we all have around this pandemic, but also to know how to plan for the future in relation to this pandemic, particularly around how government plans to time its phased lockdown. So now gotten to level 4, but there is a sense that having more information about government's models, particularly not only around the spread of the disease itself, but also around its economic modeling, would assist people to have a better sense of what they can expect in the coming months.
I mean, in government's defense, I suppose, this is uncharted waters, not only for us, but around the world as well. The information is so limited, and the information we're getting is very new. So I suppose it's difficult to communicate every single step of the way with the public.
Certainly, and what government has argued in its defense is that, this is as you say, it's a fast-moving disease. They're getting data constantly, and they don't want to alarm people by the data that they get at any given point. That in such a changeable situation, it is unadvisable to show what's happening from moment to moment, because, of course, on a particular weekend or in a particular week, things can look incredibly bad, and then because of whatever intervention is put in place by government, then things steady down, in the following week, and things look a bit better. And so the concern that if they release all the information that is so changeable over time, that it raises alarm, and also it raises expectations that government may then not be able to meet because of changes in the way that the virus is spreading. So indeed, I think that it's an incredibly difficult position for the government to be in, and perhaps it's something that can be mediated by government including more people into the modelling process, so providing information to a greater extent to different academics than the ones that they're currently working with, different organizations. I think the other way that government can try to deal with this situation is by improving its own communications. I think that government communications hasn't been as strong as it could have been or it should be in a crisis such as this, so that to increase the amount of information that we're getting from the government itself.
I think perhaps if we heard from the President perhaps once a week, a little bit more often, that would help in allaying some of the fears around the public. Thanks very much for your time, Dr. Sithembile Mbete, joining us there via our Skype line.